Hello, friends, and thank you for joining me again on our Self Developers YouTube channel. It's always a pleasure. Do comment, press likes, and also share if you find this information resonates with you, and also believe that what I'm about to talk about will help somebody else. So, today I wanted to talk about unleashing your inner Buddha. So what I mean by this is basically it can be unleashing maybe your inner diva or your inner beast. Yeah, so it's something that for me, it's not necessarily about religion, although I'm connected to like Buddhism, and I had like the opportunity to visit a Buddhist temple this past weekend. So I'm just going to tell you a little story about myself and how I came across like Buddhism. So I haven't really been initiated as such, but I feel and believe that those are beliefs that I'm closely aligned with, and I'm on a path to actually fully embrace that in the near future. Why I came across or chose this path is that I believe that everything is spiritually connected, and I find myself being grounded. So I came across like Buddhism through like reading and also just becoming aware of other people who were talking about it, and I was curious. I was like, oh, what's this thing all about, and why is everybody talking about it? So from a very young age. And what I like about it is that based on like what I've read, it's about finding eternal peace. Yeah, so that in life we have passing moments, and most of us are attracted to things that are superficial. Yeah, but the only thing that it's also been reinforced for me is that moments are passing, and it's been reinforced this weekend that moments are passing, but the one thing that can never be taken away is our internal peace. So going back to how I came across Buddhism, one of the books that I can recommend for you is called The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. Love that book. I read it while I was in Portugal finding myself. So I was like a woman on a mission, had broken up from like a relationship, which is like a long-term relationship. But I had decided at the time that this was the best thing for me. I needed to do this. And in order to do that, I felt like I needed a breakaway as well to rediscover who I was as a person. So I decided of all the times in my life that on my 30th birthday, after spending time with family and after spending time with friends, and to escape to Portugal for a week, it was the best ever decision I ever made. So one of my friends who's originally from India suggested for me to carry this book with me, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, by Robin Sharma. And I took it with me. And that week I read it, and I also carried a journal with me. And what I learned from it was very inspiring. It was about the lives that we choose to live, the fast pace type of lifestyle. And without going too much in detail, but the main character in this book had decided that the life that he was living was not sufficient, was not adequate, because it was making him ill. And he needed to find something else aside from the materialistic world that will help him to find eternal peace. So that was like my first exposure to reading more about it. And then through my own personal journey, I was explaining this to my mom the other day, is I was in South Africa. I had just come out of the hospital after seeing my sister, who was critically ill she was suffering from cardiomyopathy. And at the time she had collapsed, and she had all these medical equipment all around her, and the day was so intense, and I decided I needed to go for like a break. And this had been my usual everyday life. Well, so when I decided to go for a break, I was going back to where we were staying for that period while she was we were hoping that she would recover. And we stopped at this gas petrol station, and I was just with somebody who was driving me back to like my destination. And I was in the process of just buying like a few things for myself. And when I looked outside, there was this man who was just radiating, dressed in orange and just radiating all this like energy. I just froze where I was, and I could feel him walking closer and closer with all this like sun around him, all this energy that I felt coming from him. And I wanted to say something to him, and I couldn't. And it was one of those moments where I wished I had said something to him. So he turned out to be a monk who, in that moment, I was so glued and fixed to him. And I felt like he was just taking away my pain without actually communicating it. And I was impressed by that much energy that he had. So with Buddhism, or your inner Buddha, whatever you may call it, it's about finding eternal peace that will help you to coast a long life in a healthier way, so that events are not so painful. It's about learning daily practices and rituals, no matter where your background is, and embedding those. So whatever religion you may believe in, or whatever practice, upbringing you may have, it's finding that personal thing or